Welcome back, everybody. So in the last part of comparatives and superlatives, we are going to, in the last part of adjectives and adverbs, we are going to finish superlatives, everyone, and then this will be the end of our lesson. All right, so we use superlatives to compare three or more things. This time, you are not comparing two things, everyone. You are comparing three or more things. And actually, you are talking about the top of something, the very end of something. So, for example, Sophia is the best student in our class. She is the top. She's higher than anyone else, okay? She's better than anyone else. So, you are comparing three or more things. Now here, in terms of structure, we use adjective plus est, right? So fast, fastest, short, shortest, long, longest, all right? For short adjectives, or the most adjective or adverb for long adjectives and adverbs. So the most hardworking, the most successful, the most comfortable, the most beautiful, all right? So long adjectives are used with the most, all right? And it's always the case that superlative structures receive, well, not always, usually, but superlative structures usually receive the before them. Well, the exception to this one is possessives. If you have a possessive, you do not have the. So, my best friend, all right? Or Tim's most recent job, okay? So, with possessives, you do not need the, but in all the other places, you would use the with superlatives, everyone. So, the Arabian Peninsula is the hottest and driest region in the world. Now, we have two short adjectives here, hot and dry, okay? So, hot, the hottest, dry, the driest. So, est, and you never forget the there, all right? Hawaii is probably the most popular surfing location among surfers, all right? Or is the most popular surfing location in the world, all right? So here, again, popular is a long adjective. So what you would do is you would use most in this one. And the is always the case anyway, all right, the most popular surfing location among surfers, all right? So it's very easy. est, fast, fastest, and most plus adjective. Some examples, everyone. Short, the shortest, all right? So Kimberly is the shortest student in our class. Today is the hottest day of the year. Today is the hottest day of the year. This is the most difficult question in the exam, all right? Samuel is the most curious person I have ever met. He is the most curious person, all right? Or this is the easiest question in the exam. This is the easiest question. Or, what is the highest point? What is the highest point you can reach on a mountain? All right. Today is the most pleasant day of the summer. All right. It's the most pleasant day. What is the most urgent problem that we are facing? What is the most urgent problem? All right. So the most urgent. So these are just some examples. If it's short, you are using the plus est. If it's long, most plus adjective, all right? Now again, we have some irregular superlatives here, all right? These are easy. Good becomes the best, right? It was the best holiday I have had in my life. This was the best holiday. Or this is the best holiday. So good, better in comparatives. We talked about that. And the best. All right. Bad, worse, the worst. This is probably the worst movie ever. All right. Far, the farthest, or the furthest. That's also an irregular superlative. What is the farthest destination you have traveled? Or what is the furthest destination you have traveled? All right. So only three. Well, actually, there are more irregular adjectives, but at this level, three of them would be enough for you guys. All right. So superlatives and comparatives, interestingly, superlatives and comparatives might sometimes mean the same. Sometimes they might have the same meaning, depending on how we form the sentence. Now, this is interesting. Now, if you look at this sentence, everyone, Benjamin is the most stubborn person I've ever known. So, he is the most stubborn person. Now, how do you form this sentence with comparative to give the same meaning? It's possible. Benjamin is more stubborn than all my other friends, than all the other people I know. Okay, so all my other friends. So they have pretty much the same meaning, everybody. All right, they have pretty much the same meaning. But one of them is superlative form and the other one is comparative form. Or, this hotel is the most expensive one in the area. So it's the most expensive one. But look at this one. This hotel is more expensive than all the others in the area. So here you are forming your sentence with than all the others. All right. So they have pretty much the same meaning, but their structure, sentence structure, is not the same. All right. So this is the most expensive one. This hotel is the most expensive one in the area, but it's more expensive than all the others in the area. Now, oldest, I hope the previous point was clear, everyone. It's a little interesting, all right? Now, oldest versus eldest. This is pretty much the same with superlatives. In comparatives, there were some differences, but in superlatives, it's pretty much the same. So the superlative form of old is the oldest, all right? Old, the oldest, of course, because it's a short adjective. But we use the eldest to talk about our relatives, people in our family, right? So, look at this one. Sultan Ahmed Mosque. Sultan Ahmed Mosque, also known as the Blue Mosque. It's a beautiful one, by the way. It's a beautiful mosque in Istanbul. So, it is the oldest imperial mosque in Istanbul. All right. So, it's the oldest imperial mosque in Istanbul. Now, here, the oldest is the superlative form of old. But, check this one out. My eldest son studies chemistry at college. Now, this is different because I'm talking about a relative, someone in my family, right? Or my oldest son, you can say my oldest son. That's also possible, all right? Or you can say who is the eldest in your family or who is the oldest in your family. Both of them are fine. Now, like I said, in comparatives, there was a difference, okay? Old, older, elder, okay? But in here, in superlatives, they can be used interchangeably without any problems, all right? I hope this one was clear, everyone. So I'm going to continue with superlatives plus, in, or of. All right. So we use the preposition in to form superlatives with place names. Now, what does this mean? We use superlative form plus in if you're talking about a place name. So, for example, what's the deepest lake in the world? All right, the deepest lake in the world. In the world is a place, of course. Very obviously, it's a place. So we use in. Or, we had the best room in the hotel. All right, so in the hotel, we had the best room. All right. But we use the preposition of to form superlatives with times, all right? If you're talking about a time, all right, you use of. But if you're talking about a place, you use in. What's an example to this one? What is the longest day of the year? So the longest day of the year. So here of is talking about a time, all right? Or I remember the happiest day of my life. Now I'm not trying to say you use the preposition of with times. Of course you can use all the prepositions with times. But if you are using a superlative, then you would prefer to use of with times, okay? So that's what I'm trying to say. Normally, for example, with years, you would use in, okay? In this year, in that year. But if you are using a superlative form, then you would use what's the longest day of the year, all right? Of my life. So you don't say in my life, okay? So I remember the happiest day in my life. No, I remember the happiest day of my life is better, okay? Now this is our last point about superlatives, everyone. It is very common to use present perfect tense with superlative form, all right? So, for example, The Shawshank Redemption is the best movie that I've ever seen. So here, look at the structure carefully, everyone. That is usually omitted, all right? You can just omit that. So let's think that it does not exist there, all right? It's not there. So read the sentence fast. The Shawshank Redemption is the best movie I've ever seen. It's the best movie I've ever seen. It's the best movie I've ever seen. So it's very common to use it with present perfect tense. Or, what's the coldest place you have visited in your life? What's the coldest place you've visited in your life? Okay, so here, again, the coldest place you've visited. Now, you are talking about an experience here, all right? So, the best movie experience is Shawshank Redemption. The coldest place experience, okay? So, this is also an experience. For this reason, you would use present perfect tense. Or, Nick is the strangest person I've met here so far. Nick is the strangest person I've met here so far. Again, this is my experience. The experience of meeting the strangest person. All right? Yes, please note this was covered in detail in present perfect tense part. All right? But I want to remind you of this again. So superlatives plus present perfect tense to talk about experiences in our lives. All right? Wow. This was fast, everyone. In just one lesson, we have covered superlatives. I hope it was all clear to you. And this is the end of adjectives and adverbs as well. I hope you benefited from this lesson, everyone. I have one last exercises for you, last piece of exercises for you. Please do them, and we will continue with our next topic, everyone. See you in the next lesson.